Did you know that for pretty much the entire 30-year history of the web, a fundamental browser operation has also been a massive hidden performance trap? Well, a brand new library is here to challenge that entire model. Let's dig in.
You know that feeling, right? You're scrolling through an infinite feed, maybe a chat history or a long list of comments, and it just stutters. It feels janky. Now, you might think, oh, it's my network, but a lot of the time, it's not. That little hiccup is actually a symptom of a really deep problem, something baked right into the very way our browsers work.
All right, so what's the real technical reason behind all that frustration? We're going to take a look at what's been called the web's hidden bottleneck. Okay, here's the culprit. It's called Forced Synchronous Reflow. It sounds complicated, but here's the gist. Anytime your JavaScript code asks the browser, hey, how big is this box? The browser has to slam on the brakes. It has to stop everything it's doing, apply all the latest style changes, do a full-blown rendering pass, just to come back with a single number. This is, without a doubt, one of the most expensive things you can ask a browser to do. And that's where you get this vicious cycle. Because it's not just happening once. Imagine you have a list with hundreds of items. Your code asks for the size of item 1, reflow, then item 2, reflow, then item 3, reflow. The browser gets stuck in this loop, jumping back and forth between JavaScript and rendering. It's a phenomenon called thrashing, and it just absolutely kills any chance you have of a smooth 60 frames per second experience. This quote from HackerNoon just nails it. We live in a world that's obsessed with core web vitals, right? We're tracking things like largest contentful paint, trying to shave off every millisecond. In that context, triggering a synchronous reflow for 500 items isn't just a bad practice. They call it architectural malpractice. It's a huge flaw that directly hurts the person using your site. Okay, so if that's the problem, what on earth is the solution? Let's break down the old way versus a totally new way of thinking about this. And right here, you can see the massive shift in thinking. The old way is all about talking to the DOM, the browser's big blueprint of your web page. You render something, then you ask the DOM how big it is, and boom, you get that expensive reflow. But the new way, it completely sidesteps the DOM. It never even talks to it. It just calculates the height using pure math. No rendering required. So what's making this new way possible? It's a library called Pretext.js. And this comes from a pretty well-known developer, Cheng Lou, who used to be on the React core team and now works at Midjourney. So what is Pretext.js? Well, at its heart, it's a pure JavaScript and TypeScript library for laying out text that has multiple lines. And its entire reason for existing is to figure out how big that text is without ever having to ask the browser. And if you don't ask the browser, you completely avoid that performance-killing reflow. The real magic here is how it works with this two-step API. First, there's a function called prepare. This is something you do just once up front. It takes all your text, uses a hidden off-screen canvas to measure all the little pieces, and then it saves or caches their widths. Then you've got the layout function. This is the one you can run 1,000,000 times if you want. It's super cheap, what they call the hot path, because all it's doing is quick arithmetic on those cached widths to tell you almost instantly how tall your text block will be. It's brilliant. No rendering, no DOM, just pure math. And the results, they are just staggering. Remember how the old way could take a long time, maybe over 30 milliseconds for a list of 500 items? Well, once Pretext done its one-time prep work, that layout function can calculate the heights for that same batch of 500 text blocks in about, get this, 0.09 milliseconds. I mean, that's not even a comparison. It's a difference between a UI that stutters and one that feels completely instantaneous. So this kind of speed isn't just about making the things we already have a little bit faster. No, this opens the door to totally new UI patterns, things that were just too janky or way too complex to build before. I mean, just think about what this makes possible. You can finally have truly smooth virtualized lists with items of all different heights, and you don't have to guess the heights anymore. Or think about those streaming AI chat UIs where the text just appears. Now you can do that without the whole page jumping around. Even complex apps like Figma could use this to get text sizes without messing with the DOM. We're talking pixel-perfect chat bubbles that wrap tightly around their content, or even magazine-style layouts where text flows beautifully around complex shapes. These are things that have always been a nightmare to do with just CSS. And this quote, again from HackerNoon, just perfectly sums up the feeling of relief here. For a decade, developers have been guessing row heights, putting in hacks, and just praying the scroll bar doesn't jump all over the place. Pretext completely changes the game. It takes what was this weird, mysterious browser behavior and turns it into a predictable math problem that we can actually solve. But look, raw speed isn't the whole story, right? A developer named Micah decided to take this a step further and put pretext to a different kind of test. The question was, can this super high-performance layout engine also be made fully accessible? So what she did was take an official Pretext.js demo and re-engineer it completely to meet the strict WCAG 2.2 accessibility criteria. That means full keyboard navigation, proper screen reader support, respecting things like reduced motion settings. The whole point was to prove that you can have this amazing performance without throwing accessibility out the window. Of course, this is the internet and this is open source, so any new idea is going to get some scrutiny. Someone left some pretty critical feedback on her project. They basically said, fail. They argued that her approach, using a bunch of disconnected divs, was cheating the system, and that the visual presentation didn't match the underlying code, which is a big no-no for accessibility. Mika's response really gets at a common tension you see in development all the time. She said, look, this was a project I built in a single day. I feel it's usable enough. There are no major blockers. And she pointed out that just leaving unhelpful, hateful comments doesn't really help anyone. This back and forth is a perfect example of that real-world friction between getting something practical out the door versus chasing technical perfection, and that's especially true when you're dealing with something as complex as accessibility. So you've got these incredible performance gains on one hand, and these really important debates about implementation and accessibility on the other. So where does that leave us? What could something like Pretext mean for the future of how we build layouts on the web? Okay, let's be real for a second. It's super important to understand that Pretext is not some magic silver bullet. The creator is very open about the caveats. For one, that incredible speed-up benchmark is comparing a hot cache in Pretext to a cold DOM read, which isn't exactly an apples-to-apples comparison. There are also known issues with getting accurate measurements using the System UI font on macOS. Server-side rendering, or SSR, isn't there yet, and the library is intentionally designed to handle only a very narrow, specific set of CSS properties. It doesn't do everything. But even with those limitations, the bigger picture here is the philosophical challenge it presents. Pretext is making a really bold bet. It's saying that for this whole new class of super dynamic UIs we're building today, the browser's old model of you have to render it before you can measure it is just backwards. It's the wrong order of operation. At the end of the day, Pretext is so much more than just a clever library. It's proof. It's proof that a core function of the browser, something that's been a performance bottleneck for literally decades, can be totally reimagined and built right in JavaScript. And that leaves you with a really fascinating question to think about. If we can solve this, what other supposedly impossible browser problems are developers going to solve next?